Yo, people, it's Cole from RetroReverbRecords, and we are doing another 10-minute interviews with Cole. Today, we are joined by a fantastic guest. I'm going to just read a little bit of information about what he has done. Excuse me, I shall put my special glasses on.
You're an old man, Cole. You're an old man.
Old man Cole, yeah. Right. It was my birthday yesterday, and yeah, just another year. All right, today's guest has done a lot of things. So he has drawn animation for the Powerpuff Girls at the age of 16, which I didn't know until I Wikipedia'd it today. He used to be involved in testing video games. Some of the video games that he's worked on are Guitar Hero, which is absolutely fucking awesome, and Call of Duty, amongst many others. He provided the sport and sound design for many mobile apps, that literally so many I couldn't be bothered to list them all. More importantly, though, he's played with bands such as The Shooter, Dreams of Ashes, Winds of Plague, Korn, and is currently working on a project, All of the Damn Vampires, and has kindly decided to join us in our little synthwave scene.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Very, very nice to meet you all and very nice to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. So just in case, this is Davey Oberlin. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And he's here today to talk to us about his new project and a little bit about his history. Okay, Davey, like I said, long list of achievements there. Some really interesting stuff that I didn't know. Fantastic. I mean, just quickly, you did the animations for the Powerpuff Girls, kind of goes against the sort of, new metal, sort of hard rocker kind of image. I mean, is that something you've always done since a kid, and do you still do? Or
yeah, I've drawn since I was a kid, and I got a unique opportunity when I was in high school to work for Cartoon Network over the summer, and then potentially after high school. And yeah, one of the things I did while I was there was do like the animation in betweens to different scenes. So you got point A and you have point B, and I would animate everything in between. So it's kind of cool to be able to be given like that much responsibility at such a young age.
Yeah, I was like, so I used to watch Powerpuff Girls, so I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, big strong man. Do you do?
That was a good show.
Are you involved? Do you do your own animation for All the Damn Vampires?
I haven't really done any of my own art for the project, but I might do something. We'll see. Animation, it's changed so much. I haven't really kept up with the new ways to utilize that and do it. So it's not something I've thought about, but yeah, it's definitely a potential.
Cool. All right, I'm going to kick off with the first question. So yeah, I did a bit of research on you. Obviously, I had heard who you were. But one of the things that I noticed, another thing that I noticed on Wikipedia, which was a very interesting read, is that I noticed that you have sung, you've played the drums, you've played lead guitar, and you've been the keyboardist. So quite a versatile artist and musician. And I was just wondering, what kind of made you so musically versatile? Is it can you just turn your hand to anything, or is it something you kind of worked at?
So I've always been able to play by ear and kind of just pick out anything I can hear. And the mechanical side of the instruments, I just taught myself. It's like I wanted to be able to play something or write something, and I didn't want to have a limitation. So I just learned what I needed to learn. And, it's like programming drums. I didn't want to work with drummers all the time because the schedule is always conflicted and, it gets complicated. So I was like, the more I can do on my own, the better. So I just took my ability to play by ear and to learn by sight, and I put that all together and just inclined towards all different types of instruments. But guitar is like my favorite. That's like what I've been doing since I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I think Alex is going to ask you a question about that in a minute. So when did you start playing like instruments, or what age?
I would say, yeah, 6. My dad gave me an acoustic guitar he got when he was in high school. I still have it to this day, and I play it all the time. It's like the best sounding acoustic I have. But don't tell Ibanez that, because they sent me listen to. But yeah, so I think 6 would be the age where I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I can see what I can do with it.
I think Alex has got an old acoustic guitar that you can't play anymore, that your granddad or your great granddad had in your family, or something. Is that right, Al?
I have it over there in in my living room. Yeah, it's 1922, like, you know, artisan, you know, guitar, you know, my great granddad's, and it was, finding that out was incredible because, you know, I come from such a non-musical family, and yet, you know, it in kind of, you know, my little world, I think I managed to achieve a few things in my like very small musical career. And I always wondered, you know, where the hell that came from. And then I found out that my great granddad used to get paid to play serenades here in Sicily, which were actually a big thing. It was like a huge business back in the day. Like when you used to like propose, to play serenades, and they used to pay you good money. And he was a really good guitarist. He was like the best guitarist in this town. So wow, you know.
That's really cool.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna pass you over, and I believe you've got a couple of questions for Davey. So fire away.
Definitely. So yeah, as Cole said, incredible. I mean, it's having this musical intelligence is just such an amazing thing. I mean, it's sometimes a double-edged sword, which you know, like a lot of people tend to go crazy with that. Like I've met a lot of producers who have literally gone nuts. Like I brush my teeth at 75 BPM, and you know, like stuff like that. You know. Like I walk at 150, whatever. But no, my question to you was, now obviously you're a great guitarist, worked with Avenged Sevenfold, you ended up at Schecter, so amazing feats. When you're on stage with a band like Korn and you're behind the, obviously you're taking care of, you know, the synth part, you know, all the electronics. What kind of a push does that give you? I mean, it's obviously different from guitar, maybe not, I'm not saying more or less intense, but I'm just saying, is there a difference, or, you know, do you have the same kind of emotions with behind any instrument?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. I definitely feel like the experience is like night and day from guitar. You know, when I play the guitar, it's kind of like your whole body goes into it, your whole mind, you know, and you play these parts and you just get a different type of satisfaction from nailing the left hand and the right hand. But the synth and the keyboards live that's like almost like a game of like accuracy. You know, you're trying to like fill these little gaps and not be too noticeable, but also accompany, you know, the guitars and the bass and make sure there's atmosphere and there's these layers playing along. So it's a little bit more involved as far as like the mathematical side of your brain, you know, going off. So, you know, I'm going from like one MIDI controller here to a synthesizer back here to different computer programs that are giving me the sounds I need and splitting those across the keyboard, remembering where those are, you know, trying to just time everything. If I start a song, if I trigger a sample. So yeah, it's dramatically different. It's a lot more mental work, I would say, to do the keyboard live.
So would you say that you kind of, when you're saying you use your body more when you play the guitar, would you say that you kind of naturally just feel the guitar, whereas the keyboards are more of a sort of a process, so sort of natural instinct versus calculated process?
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, like the guitar and playing with like perfect timing or playing with a drummer, like I have to feel that and kind of move with it, you know, and just be fully like immersed in that physically and mentally. But with the keyboards, it's a little more based on the accuracy, and you know, there's just different things going on, like the way your posture is and where you're standing, that like with the guitar, you kind of just meld into it and you kind of get that vibe, you know, the groove going.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I had another, and I promise this is like the last kind of Korn related question, because we want to focus on you, obviously.
Sure.
But and it is obviously about you, and you know, obviously when we're a small label, we obviously mainly deal with independent artists or, you know, medium small time artists, and there's a kind of barrier, like a kind of an ozone layer between, you know, indie artists, you know, like small time artists, and then obviously there's that threshold, and then you have like huge, I call them like mechanisms of bands and artists. How was the impact moving from obviously your previous endeavors to such a huge, monstrous, beautiful machine that is, I think, Korn, right? Because I mean, everything changes with such a band, because you know their touring is just so intense. I mean, I know that they have like such a tight schedule, and I mean, how was that kind of impact?
Yeah, I think I was always kind of prepared for it, because you can see, you know, if you're observing when you're playing these shows and festivals, you can see like the difference in the schedules and the you know, accommodations and things like that. So once I got there, I was already pretty comfortable, and you know, everything was a lot of fun. It was still great. If anything, it got a little bit easier because there was more time to kind of just mentally you know, rest and recuperate and be ourselves, and you know, work on other things on the side. Like I was able to get all the damn vampires going, you know, while I was also touring. So yeah, and I think it got better. Like obviously there's a personality standard you have to pass to be able to, you know, to get on the road with certain people and function with them. Like you have to be, you know, the right person to exist and coexist in those situations. But yeah, all of it just was such a smooth transition. It just was like perfect. And when I got there, I was like, yeah, this is great, man. Like I got the time now to kind of work on things, and then I can go and perform and do these shows.
Cool. Cool.
Are you also like as spiritual as the rest of them?
Yeah, that's actually how I met Brian and Fieldy. Was we had the same faith, so that was something that we came together on. Yeah, and then yeah, we still, to this day, it's nice to have other guys that share that with you. You know, like we're all like super down to earth, and nobody's, you know, like judgmental or strict, but it's just nice that, you know, we all have the same set of moral values and backgrounds.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So I feel it must be like super liberating in a project like All the Damn Vampires, you know, to just be there and, you know, do your own thing without too many constrictions. And
yeah, it's a really nice outlet to be able to write some of these songs that that I've been wanting to put out, but also to see them received well, you know, because when I first did like the instrumental versions of Saturday and some other tracks, I was like, man, I don't know if people are gonna like this or what, you know, but it ended up being received really well. So I feel like an encouragement to just keep going and keep making all this stuff.
Cool. All right, so I want to ask you about the change from when you first started getting involved in music to now. So one of the problems that is laminated about it very often is the fact that it's quite difficult to know what to listen to. There are a lot of releases out there, and some people feel that it's diluting or muddying the waters, and they don't know what's good, and they feel like there's quite a lot of not so good stuff out there. What's your views on like maybe a possible solution to that, or do you think it's a good thing that we've been able to just release what we want when we want?
I think that I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's definitely the way of the future, is just like access to content and content being given freely for whatever incentives or reasons. But I think that, like, you know, the really good stuff is going to catch on. And it's just, if you're making good music and it's great and you're working it and sticking behind it, it's going to translate. People are going to listen to it and they're going to share, and that's going to just keep rolling, you know? So you can put out as much stuff as you want, but like, as long as those diamonds are being found, you know, and people are supporting that, I think those will always break through. I'm sure there's a lot of great songs and great artists that don't get any exposure, or, you know, so I think that's part of the battle. There's a lot of gatekeepers in the industry, and, you know, things that gatekeep them off of certain platforms. But if you can figure out a way around that and to get your stuff listened to and out there, and just, you know, take all the opportunities you can, if you're making good music, it's going to break through.
Cool. I mean, I think you're right, though. I think if you're making good music, that's the first step. I mean, figuring out a way around gatekeepers and what you've got to pay for or not is another big question. But I mean, no, I agree. I mean, the music's got to be there. You've got to work hard and hopefully, you know, catch your break kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Last question from me. I don't know, Alex, if you've got anything afterwards, you can let me know quickly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about All the Damn Vampires. So what inspired the sound? Why did you decide to sort of go with this sort of 80s influenced sound, and what's to come?
Well, I've always been in love with the, you know, synthesizer sounds and the dramatic, like, atmospheric elements of those. And, you know, just the cinematic soundscapes. And I grew up watching a lot of great films and being inspired by those. So I kind of just wanted to take all of those things and combine it and just make these musical pieces that had a lot of those elements. You know, the goal wasn't even necessarily to be nostalgic all the time or have that retro vibe, but it just ended up working out that way, you know, with some of the synths. But from my mental space when I'm writing the songs is just coming from like a pop background, or, you know, even the electronic music world. Like, so I'm doing a lot of that in the production as well, like a lot of the modern techniques. And yeah, right now I've been doing a lot of remixes, which has been super fun for me. It was something that I never really like, you know, was super passionate about tackling before, but a record label, Sumerian Records, has picked me up to do you know, quite a few remixes. So just recently I put out a song called Scarlet Cross by the Black Veil Brides that I remixed. And I also have some more coming out with them. I can't say what that is until they're ready to announce it, but yeah, there's some cool stuff. There's really cool stuff coming out. I'm working on my full length. I'm actually going to be mixing some songs for that today and up in Los Angeles. So yeah, I've just been on the grind, you know, just making as much content as possible. I've got some instrumental stuff coming out. I've got an NFT. I have plenty of content in the pipeline, like ready to come out.
And is there any like artists out there in the scene that you appreciate, that you've maybe heard of or possibly working with out there, like any sort of maybe artists that you yourself have taken some inspiration from?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite artists in the scene and to work with, we have a song called Holding On, is Wolf Club.
Amazing. Yeah, they were on our first charity album. Yeah, really good too.
Yeah. I love what they do. Yeah, just it's really cool to you know, have formed a friendship and a relationship with an artist in the scene like that, you know. So there's a lot of respect there. I'm also doing a lot of the art for my music with an artist. His Instagram handle is _Schlechte, SCHLE. Yeah, he's incredible. If you look at my Instagram follows, you'll find him on there, and we've collaborated a lot. So my NFT is with him, and the art coming for, you know, my next few singles, my full length, it's all through him as well. So that's visually one of my favorite artists, and it's been really cool working with him as well.
Nice. I was really glad to hear that you said Wolf Club, because they're from London as well, and obviously I'm a London boy as well, and they like I said just now, they gave us a track for our first charity album, which was really kind and helped us sort of, well, it was one of the catalysts really that helped kick RetroReverbRecords into the scene. It was one of the first things.
Oh, that's great.
Wolf Club.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what, that reminds me, speaking of London, it's Sunglasses Kid. He did a 90s remix of my song Pacific Coast Heartbreak, and that's going to come out August 20th, I believe is the release date now. So it's pretty cool. It's like this really dramatic 90s like TV kind of vibe.
Cool. And where's that going to be available?
Everywhere. So any streaming platform, you'll be able to stream. Any website where you can download music or buy. It'll all be there.
Is it all the damn vampires at bandcamp.com?
Yeah, I believe so.
Probably
I believe
is.
that.
Probably
Yeah.
Actually, you know, that's another one as well. Sunglasses Kid was on our first charity album as well. And actually, we might as well just use this opportunity to say, you know, that you're going to be donating a track to our charity album, our second charity album that's coming out in Halloween, which is for mental health. So thank you very much.
That's right.
That was really appreciated. Okay, Alex, anything else from you?
Yes, personal question. I mean, obviously musical, but still personal question. When I got into synthwave, retrowave, thanks to this man here, you know, at first I had this kind of little conflict between everything I'd done in the past and then this kind of new genre, which wasn't exactly new. I mean, I'd been listening to it for years, but I found it really difficult to have like the more kind of rocky metal or alternative side coexist with the synth pop 80s Gary Newman side of me. I mean, do you feel like that you've had some of those moments, or and do you think that like all your background is going to eventually catch up on you, or are you thinking of maybe, you know, getting some of these influences in your future albums, or is it something you're just putting aside?
Yeah, I think the past and the things I've been involved with have lent themselves really well with some of these remixes I've done, because the artists are like more rock or metal. So being able to take that and understand the dynamics of a song like that and the aggression, and then translate it into a synth song, is basically what I'm doing, is taking these songs in the vocal performance and just throwing them onto like my own synth inspired instrumentals. And so I think in the future you'll hear me incorporating a little bit of that as well, some of the rock and the heavier stuff. I have like an outrun track that I'm working on that's pretty cool. There's a lot of guitar, but then there's a singer from a hardcore band, which I can't mention right now, but he's singing on it. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I think it's all going to come full circle. But I do like being within that realm of the pop world as well. I've spent a lot of time in rock and metal, and I think that I'm definitely interested in transcending a lot of the boundaries.
Oh,
awesome. Okay, guys. So look, anyone who's interested in listening to any of Davey's stuff, the links will be in the description below. Check those out, and we'll put as much information in there as possible for you. Subscribe to his channel, go and follow him, listen to him. I'm sure there's going to be loads of amazing stuff coming from Davey. Thank you. Right, Davey, the second part of this interview it's just a really quick fire round. It's called quick fire round. Okay, it's kind of stupid.
All right.
let's see what happens. Right, are you ready, my friend?
Yep, I'm good to go.
If you can't think of an answer, don't worry, it happens. It's not important.
Okay.
All right, you can say pass. No one's gonna kill you. Maybe Alex. I don't know. He's a bit aggressive.
He got me with the Breakfast Club. He made me full with a question about Breakfast Club.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay. Right. Question number one. You have to it's one of those things where you got to try and say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. Question number one. What's your favorite musical experience?
Red Rocks, Colorado, Van Halen.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Do you prefer cold weather or hot weather?
Hot weather.
Okay. One band you still want to see live?
Depeche Mode.
Awesome answer. Okay. Something you miss from the past that doesn't exist or doesn't really happen anymore?
Meeting up at the arcade to play Mortal Kombat.
What a game! Well, you got to get one of those in your house. Okay.
Yes.
Something, just anything you love.
Oh, cashew milk ice cream.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, and something you hate?
Mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms are lovely. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Not all of them.
No, I know a lot of people think they taste like earth and kids hate them. Fair enough. It's all subjective.
Yes.
Have you got any pet hates?
Any pet hates?
Yeah, like something that really gets under your skin, annoys you, like people speaking really loudly on a bus or spitting on the street or something like that.
Coming from Los Angeles, this is appropriate. People that drive and don't use their turn indicator before a turn. So you'll wait for them to come out of a driveway and they'll just, be ready to turn before you.
Oh my God.
That happens in Palermo too.
So I say we live in the land of that. We live in the land.
It's probably the hot weather that gets into people's minds.
Don't come here to drive. Yeah. That's one solid piece of advice. Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you rather never listen to good music again or never play music again?
Oh wow, I'd have to say never play music again, because I definitely need to be able to listen to good music to get by.
Alex, I'm going to ask you quickly. I've never done this before. I'm just ad-libbing here.
Go on.
Same question.
Oh, probably no, the opposite. I can't live if I don't play. I can live without music. Like right now, I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to audiobooks, strangely enough. But I cannot live without playing. Without.
We have a clash.
Where to
go? Okay, Davey. Actually, I'm going to throw Alex in for this one as well, but I'm going to let Alex speak because I'm unfair because I know him. All right. Okay. Sexiest 80s icon.
Oh wow.
Oh, what was her name from Weird Science?
Oh, I know what you mean. She's the one who comes in with all the smoke behind her. Like she's like got
Yeah.
the belly top. I don't know what the actress name is.
I can't think of her name right now. It's totally escaping me. So it's between her and Cindy Crawford.
Good call. Two good choices. Very good choices.
Cindy was my first crush. So.
Oh, wow. Wow. Two. One's fictional, one's actually real. Samantha Fox from definitely.
The original Page 3 girl, of course, which we're not allowed anymore.
Yeah. And the other one is my first ever vaguely sexual thought when I went to see The Little Mermaid, and when Ursula becomes hot, when she like, yeah, when she becomes
bad
hot.
girl.
Yeah, so that was my first ever sexual thought, age 6.
I didn't know that about you, man. There's some things you don't need to know. I wish I'd never asked out joking.
Can I add to that?
Go for it.
I had the same feelings for Jessica Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, no, she was hot, man. I mean, they free, super hot. I love that film. All right, okay, last question. Baby, I'm assuming that you were a child in the 80s. Is that correct? Before I ask this question.
Maybe too young to remember a lot of it. I was born in 83, so.
Oh, all right, okay. Ever so slightly younger than Alex. When were you born? 82?
85.
85, right, okay.
Yeah,
maybe this question is not relevant, but even if it wasn't your favorite thing at the time, it might be your favorite thing now. What is your favorite thing from the 80s?
Oh, definitely probably Madonna. You know, when my sister would have all of her friends over, she had a lot of attractive friends, and they would listen to like 80s Madonna, and I'd just be a fly on the wall, you know.
Can I just say, when you guys were describing like your sexy 80s icon, when I was a kid, I had a massive crush on Madonna.
Oh yeah,
she
was the ultimate.
Yeah. Alex, favorite thing?
The spontaneity of going out with friends without mobile phones and feeling amazed at the little things and feeling cool because you discovered like a new band and it was like yours to keep until it kind of blew up 5 or 10 years later. That's a good one. Thing.
Yeah, that's true. What's and Davey, one last question before we close. What's your feelings on social media? Are you a big fan or a bit of a pain in the ass for you? It is for me. I'm going to be honest. I absolutely hate social media.
Yeah, same here.
I think it's a love-hate relationship. Like, you know, a lot of good things have come from it. I've made a lot of good connections and done some cool creative stuff. But on the other hand, I'm actually like pretty bummed that I'm always drawn to it and wanting to look at my phone first thing when I wake up, you know. So
has anyone liked this message? Has anyone shared? It's a bit kills you, yeah. Okay, listen, Davey, thank you so much for your time today. Is there anyone you'd like to do any shouts out to, anything you'd like to mention before we say goodbye?
I want to shout out Sunglasses Kid and Wolf Club. Keep an eye out for some collaborations that we'll be putting together, and there'll be some more surprises coming soon as well.
Okay, excellent. Alex, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, well, big thank you to Davey. It's been an absolute honor to virtually meet you.
You too. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and bye-bye. Right.
Bye.